This morning, new details also from the affidavit offer really a much clearer picture into what happened on the night of the murder of the 4 college students in Idaho. We've also learned about a surveillance operation that led to the arrest of the suspect, who was seen placing garbage bags into neighbors' bins. John Miller, CNN law enforcement analyst, is with us. Thanks very much. The affidavit said so much because we didn't know much in terms of how they got to this suspect and why.
You know, the affidavit is the anatomy of a modern criminal investigation. I mean, how many times over the last 7 weeks did we hear people say, the case isn't going anywhere, the police aren't telling us anything, you know, why isn't it solved already? But the affidavit tells us that really from the day of the murder, they start with the video canvas, then they develop pictures of a white Hyundai Elantra. Okay, it's a car, not a person, they don't have a plate. But then they ask other police departments, you know, to look for that car. A college police officer finds one. They then look at the owner of that car. On December 23rd, they get the cell phone record showing the owner of that car has been, what appears to be from the record, staked out in the area of that murder house a dozen times since August. So they start to zero in on Bryan Kohberger. But when you get into the affidavit, the chilling details, a downstairs surviving witness hears crying upstairs and a voice saying, "It's okay, I'm here to help you." The dog barking, more crying, and then sees a figure clad in black walk out the door through the sliding glass, wearing a black mask. It's frightening even to read.
It turns out, as people were saying, and I guess everyone sort of thought, what's going on? Doesn't anyone know anything? Isn't there any evidence? Turns out there was a whole lot that they were working on that we just weren't aware of.
A whole lot. But just like, and I've been in cases like this before, where you've got great leads and they fizzle, and then you have other leads working, and then one of them starts to pan out. It was a lot of evidence, but it came in bits at a time. And then literally 2 days before Christmas really accelerates. But some of the interesting things that haven't come out in the affidavit, they're staked out in Pennsylvania at Bryan Kohberger's house, at his family's house, in a very rural area. And the surveillance team that's watching from a pretty great distance sees him come out and clean the car from top to bottom, inside and out, using surgical gloves to handle items, as if, you know, the car was about to be sold almost. They see him taking out the trash at 4 o'clock in the morning, Bryan Kohberger himself, and then putting it in the neighbor's bin next door. And why is he under surveillance? One, they're waiting to get probable cause to arrest him so he doesn't get away, disappear, or they don't have to find him. But more importantly, they're there to see if they can recover that abandonment sample, something they threw away that would have his DNA on it. And that's why they went to the trash, collected it, and made that match that allowed the judge to okay that warrant.
The most important thing, though, is motive.
So we still don't have motive. And the clue to that is not only, Don, is it not in the affidavit, but, you know, Poppy, they came out the day they announced the arrest and said, now, who knows something about this guy who can share it with us? Because they're still trying to get into that. One other thing that nobody's talked about. Pennsylvania authorities are looking at this case that happened on the other side of the country, but saying this guy lived here. And based on the offender characteristics of a quadruple murder done with some efficiency in the dark, they don't believe that that is his first encounter with violence. Most killers don't start off with something like that.
You're
so
right.
They're going back through unsolved cases in Pennsylvania to say, what fits an MO? What fits the pattern? What fits the offender characteristics at the crime scene to see, do we have an unsolved case that fits here? Because now we have things we didn't have. We have a name, we have DNA, we have things to compare.
Wow, you're right. No one is talking about that. John Miller, thank you. We're grateful.
Thank you very much.